Selling yourself. That is an interesting topic. When you ask somebody, are you a good salesperson? Most people are going to say no to that. But if you were to ask somebody, are you a good communicator? Do you have good social skills? Most people would say yes to that. So what is selling yourself? And by extension, how does one sell an idea? That's a complicated issue, and we're going to try to break down some do's and don'ts and some pointers on how to do that. But I think it's important to point out the difference between what people would refer to as social skills, which is basically just small talk and chatter and kind of having fun, versus communication skills or sales skills, which is being able to convey an idea or a concept in a way where the other person understands it and believes it. And that's what we're talking about today, is how to sell yourself and sell ideas. And this is going to be an important skill no matter what you do. No matter what profession you go into, no matter what hobby that you have, your ability to communicate with others in a way where it's not just fun and playful, but you're actually conveying concepts and ideas that are going to be valuable for them and are going to enrich the relationship. That's going to be necessary in all walks of life. So it's totally a valuable skill to develop. Now we're going to break down into some steps, a basic format which you can modify as you need. It's in some cases this can be applied even if you're talking to an audience or in a public speaking setting. In other cases, this can be applied just in a one-on-one conversation or a social setting. But the first thing you want to pay attention to is building rapport. So very first step in selling yourself or selling an idea is establishing rapport. And one of the things that you want to think about is you want you and your audience or the person you're talking to be connected on kind of an emotional level. And you want to go from, in their mind, just being another person that they cross paths with in a day to like a real friend. You want to go to a real person that they're really noticing you. And so how do we do that? Well, actually, counterintuitively, most people think what they need to do to be an interesting person is have really interesting things to say. They worry about saying the right thing or the wrong thing. The best way to be interesting is to be interested. So step one with building rapport is taking an interest in other people. And you can't fake this. You can't mimic interest. It actually takes some time for you to build within yourself this mental muscle of just being interested. Kind of put your life aside and go, I don't really know this person that well. What are they interested in? I wonder if they like the same type of music as me. I wonder why they decided to go to this college. I wonder why they decided to pick that major. And honestly, the best rapport technique you can use is just asking questions that are below the surface level questions. Where are you from? What are you studying? Great. How do you like the weather? That's shallow. If you can get down to like, why did you decide to do that? Wow, that's cool. I actually know somebody who is into that too. Now you're connected. And rapport doesn't have to take a long time, but you just want to have that light bulb go off where it's like, wow, I like this guy and they like me too. And so then moving into the second bullet point is where you want to start introducing your idea. And all we're doing there is shifting the rapport conversation into the idea that you want to talk about. So if you're talking about sports, you start asking them who their favorite sports team is. If you're talking about a new studying technique or you want to explain to them how to study better, you start asking them how their grades are. And so we're shifting the topic into whatever the idea is that you're trying to promote. And in the process of doing that, you're asking questions that are related to your idea about how you might be able to help them with their idea or with the topic. And so as you're introducing your idea, you want to get more and more specific and say, okay, well, actually, I'd love to talk to you about insert your idea. So you've introduced your concept. You want to talk about three main things. So, I'd love to talk to you about, I have a passion for our community too. And I think it's really important that we minimize littering and we invest in the schools and we do some volunteer work. Or you want to kind of talk about your three main agenda points that you're going to convey in your idea. And then once you've kind of set the table in that way where you've blurted out kind of the three things that you're going to cover, for lack of a better term, then you want to go back and drill down individually on each point. Or it might just be one really simple point. You don't need to have three, but you don't want to go more than three because you'll kind of lose interest. Once you've started to explain your point and what you're trying to get at and how it's going to benefit the individual or how it's going to benefit the audience or how it's going to benefit the community, whatever it is, At the end of each point, there's kind of a pro tip, which is like a trial closing question, we call it. And that would basically be like, man, I just think, going around our town, there's a lot more space for more garbage cans because I see a bunch of litter all over the place, and I wish we could raise awareness on that and help with the littering. Have you noticed that too? That's called a trial closing question. And if you'll get them to participate by asking them confirmation questions like that, it'll kind of bring their mind closer to like, yeah, you know what? I do believe in this idea. And then number 4, once we've kind of elaborated a little bit on each key point or maybe just your main point, you want to summarize. And so it's a classic, you're going to tell them what you're going to tell them, then you're going to tell them, then you're going to tell them what you told them. And so, I think really we could solve the issue in the community if we just focus on littering and we focused on investing in the schools and whatever. So you want to give kind of a quick overview of the whole thing. And then the final point to kind of solidify the sale, if you will, of your idea or of whatever you're trying to convey is to have a call to action of some kind. And so it would really be a tragedy if you've done a great job explaining this idea or this concept that's going to benefit and they're like, I think I'm with you. And then you just say, oh, cool. Because their mind's just going to go to whatever they're doing next in their day, and there will be no action. So the last thing you want to do is really solidify the concept by saying, hey, what do you say we exchange numbers and you let me text you about this and we can take action tomorrow. Or if it's an audience, a public speaking thing, it's like, everybody go back through your notes and look at one thing that you're going to commit to doing tomorrow to make sure that you create some change too. And in doing an action step right at the end, that's going to very firmly solidify your sale of whatever it is the idea is you're trying to communicate. So again, being able to sell yourself, or more specifically, being able to communicate any concept or any idea to any demographic or any age group is going to be a very powerful tool in you being able to lead people, in you being able to be successful no matter what industry you're going into. So it's a fun thing to practice. Just to go over them one more time, it's rapport, introduce your idea, elaborate on your key points, summarize, and call to action. And if you guys will apply that little format, you're going to be amazed how effective of a communicator you'll be as time goes on. So thank you.